8 stories about the worst plane journeys. I used to hate going on planes. First flight was when I was 7. I was sick within 10 minutes and felt sick for the full 8 hours until we landed. I couldn't eat. I could barely open my eyes and raise my head without wanting to throw up. For years the same thing would happen on every single flight. We tried everything from tablets to pressure point bands on my wrists, but nothing worked. The motion sickness was too great. When I was 13, we went on an internal flight in India between 2 really small airports. The plane looked kind of old, but my dad told us that the company was legit. The whole plane shook violently during takeoff and landing, but I didn't feel sick, just scared like hell. Lo and behold, I never felt sick on a plane again. Never as scared as I was on that day. Scared, slickless. Sickless. Lol. I had to catch an early work flight from Germany to Washington. 6-hour time difference. I already pulled an all-nighter from working on a presentation the night before, and I can never fall asleep on planes, so I was hoping to get to the meeting place early and have a quick nap. This happens a lot, so there's a secret nap room. The plane landed 90 minutes late, so no time for a nap. I managed to get through the meeting and give a half-decent presentation. Turned out I already had a late-night flight booked to go back home on the same day. Again, no nap since my friends convinced me to go out for a few drinks before my flight. I was exhausted. My English isn't too bad, but apparently it's terrible when I'm drunk with jet lag. So getting to and through the airport wasn't easy. On the flight I kept passing in and out of consciousness, and I couldn't remember if I had already changed my watch back to German time. Near the end I could barely understand people speaking, and I half convinced myself that I was a time traveler who didn't need a watch. The next day, I bought a smartwatch. I also told my boss that I won't be going back anytime soon. He asked why. I said I'd tell him if we could have a secret nap room as well. Still awaiting approval. If everyone knows about the secret nap room, is it still a secret? Lol. All plane journeys longer than 6 hours are terrible, because all food on planes is terrible. Why is that? Even the food you take on yourself suddenly becomes terrible. What the actual F? Sat down next to a kid, and immediately knew that he was going to ruin my life. 10 minutes in, and he projectile vomits on me. His mother apologized profusely, but still did nothing to deal with the kid who was continuing to be a loud, annoying monster. I tried to get it off my clothes as much as possible, but I still spent over 4 hours smelling of puke. The only positive was that halfway through the mother went to the toilet and had the nerve to ask me to watch him for a minute. I told the kid to stay quiet for the rest of the flight, using my best scary eyes. It worked. I'm counting it as a win. A few years ago I was on a flight to Thailand from Brazil, which takes almost a full day. I was between the window and aisle seat, sandwiched between an older couple. I can tell you now, it was a long 22 hours. To start with, both of them took both armrests, leaving me with nothing. I'm a smallish guy, and they were on the larger side, so I wasn't too uncomfortable but still a little annoyed. The husband was in the aisle seat, and immediately took off his shoes. The stench made my eyes water, and I hoped someone else would complain so I wouldn't have to. I didn't want him to be upset with me for the full flight. Thankfully, someone else said something to the flight attendant. He put his shoes back on, but kept looking around, and whenever the attendant was out of sight, he would take them off again, each time releasing a new wave of funk. After about an hour, I asked him about it as politely as I could. Me. Excuse me, I don't mean to pry, but I was just wondering, is there a reason you keep taking your shoes off? Him. I have a medical condition. Me. Thinking it was BS. Why didn't you just say that to the attendant? Him. It's none of her business, and I only told you since you stuck your nose in my business. So stay in your lane. I wanted to say, hey, you made it my business when that ungodly smell invaded my face, but I also didn't want to waste any more effort on this, so I dropped it. A little while later, the wife said she needed the bathroom. I was happy to stand in the aisle, but the husband proceeded to complain and insult his wife for needing the bathroom like he expected her to hold it in. At first I didn't want to stick my nose in, but this happened a few times during the flight. One time, when she returned from the bathroom, I suggested that she and her husband should perhaps swap seats, and I offered to sit in the window seat if that might help. The wife started shrieking that I've already harassed them enough. To recap, I just asked him 2 questions, and that she enjoyed looking out of the window, so she didn't want to move. The husband then went crazy and started ranting about how young people today are the worst generation, who don't respect their elders. He continued to liken me to a demon, who was put on the plane to ruin his life and upset his wife. By this time, the attendant came in and tried to calm everyone down. When I spoke to her, thankfully a few other people around us were on my side, and they were eventually moved to different seats. The last few hours of having 3 seats to myself definitely did not make up for their behavior. I wouldn't be surprised if his feet end up getting confiscated by the DOD. Happened in the airport, not a plane. My girlfriend and I were going to Budapest, and I was a little nervous since I was going to pop the question. We were in line for coffee when out of nowhere a random kid ran up and hit me in the nuts real hard before running away. I doubled over, and my girlfriend started laughing. When I was on my knees, she realized something else might be going on, and asked if I was okay. I couldn't answer. The pain was worse than anything I had ever felt before, and all of my effort went to trying not to puke. She told the security guard, and they got me to a medic, who said I should go to the hospital. Turned out I had testes torsion, and needed emergency surgery. The surgery went well, but it sucked that we missed our flight. Thank God for travel insurance. My girlfriend looked after my clothes in the meantime, and found the ring in my coat. Funny how in one day I had the worst and best moments in my life. She said yes. Speaker. Flight delayed by 10 minutes. My brain. Fine, I guess. Speaker. Flight delayed by a further 15 minutes. My brain. This had better be the last time. Speaker. Flight delayed by a further 10 minutes. My brain. If you say delay one more goddamn time, someone's getting a slap in the face. Speaker. After 20 minutes of silence. Flight cancelled due to bad weather. My brain. Well. At least you didn't say delay. Members of Humankind. Well done for making it to the end of this video. As a reward, here is a random fact. In 75 BCE, pirates in the Aegean Sea kidnapped a young Roman nobleman. The ransom was set at 20. The man scoffed and said it should be 50. This was just the beginning. While they waited for the money, he insulted them, made them listen to speeches and poetry, and even made multiple threats to crucify them. After 38 days, the ransom was paid, and he went free. He somehow raised a naval force and caught his captors. They were incarcerated and awaiting a verdict. He did not wait. He went to the prison, made good on his promise, and had them all crucified. That man was Julius Caesar. Like and subscribe for more, and comment below for videos you'd like to see. Stories of Humankind.